in the Advantage Motorsport Future Classics. The squabble's continuing down through the order as well. You can see there the number 33 Stephen Robertson driven Mazda MX-5 hot on the heels of Christian Cox 924. Rob Hodges has gone through. He's now under pressure from the number turbo. The red car sits behind, which is Miles Maserati. Have been heading round through the bottom of the leaders just up the road with Stuart Davis. I think not the missing headlamp, I think it's an air intake, either for the brakes or for the turbo is the way that he's managed to structure that. So that's why a light's missing, because it gives an air intake somewhere for him.
I see, over the line then for the first time in anger, and Chilton is just running off after the Tuscan. And again, the lovely roars and screams of our various engines over the line. God, that's Sadler side by side with one of the 944s just coming down into the first turn. Then a big argument of BMWs. That's the right BMW that's being challenged and already overtaken into that first turn. Matt Irons at the back of that particular pack. Again, that's a lovely characteristic we have here in the Classic Sports Car Club. There is always someone to fight. There's the number 75. That's Matt Lewis in the Marcos being challenged by the Maserati Porsche. Strange sentence, but that is exactly how it stands. I'm a little surprised that the Porsche is struggling. It looks like it's either struggling or just maybe it just hasn't got the tyres up to temperature. I thought it'd be a bit towards the sharper end, but not taken away from Matt Lewis in that Marcos Mantulo, doing a stunning job.
Yeah, so that was on the run out of Wilson Hairpin, where he made his way through and got the job fully done by the time they got towards Agostini. The pair are just picking their way out of Hamilton now up towards the braking area for Oggies. The two red cars, the Marcos ahead of the Porsche. Porsche, of course, closes up under braking, but the gap just sort of stretches a little bit as they work their way out of the corner. 3.9 litre Marcos Mantulo coming under pressure from the 3.3 litre turbo Porsche that sits behind, and in a straight line, that Porsche is, I think, still losing out to the Marcos Mantulo. And down towards the bottom section of the circuit, they will be threading their way. Stuart Davis was leading by 2.5 seconds at the end of the first lap of racing. We've got another good little fight going on. That's in 8th place. That's between the two Porsche 944s. Number 47, Ryan Lowe. Ryan, he is coming under pressure from 51 that sits behind, and that is the similar shaped car for the 944 turbo. Richard Harper is fight to watch out.
So far, absolutely untouchable with 2:06 in 2.8 seconds now separate him and Mark Chilton. Hollyman in third. Stephen Scott winning is holding on to fourth position as we continue to watch the Maserati Porsche. He's losing ground against that Marcos. I'm a little surprised the Porsche hasn't got a bit more ground behind it. Are they being caught by the two 944s behind them? Let's have a look at the lap times. Yes, so Miles Maserati is being caught by the Harman Slater and Sadler Schlewitz battle.
Yeah, I'll have to wait and see as to whether Miles Maserati can hang on to the place or whether those Porsches will continue to just close up. We are now literally only 5 minutes away from the pit window opening as well. It opens very, very quickly. It's a 40-minute race, but it opens after the first 10 minutes. And in this particular series, it is as quick as you can conduct that pit stop. So solo drivers have to undo the seat belts, turn the engine off, get out of the car, open and close the door again if that's what you need to do. Stuart Dayburn can't because of his TVR Tuscan, and get back in and off they go. So it's as quick as you can do it, the way it works in the Advantage Motorsport Future Classics. The squabble's still continuing as well, down towards Agostini at the moment. The pit lane starter, Sam Smith, has made really, really good progress, working his way up through the order. He gained another 5 places last time through at the wheel of the pink Mazda MX-5. That now promotes him from the pit lane start up into 14th position, having been 19th on the previous lap. So impressive stuff from him. He's picked up another couple of beamers, hasn't he, that time through? Black one was John Flashes to it. He has managed to squeeze his way through Michael Wright, and also the number 37 BMW that he's got in the field. That's E21, isn't it? Not that right. So yeah, that would be pink Mazda in the same would go well. And indeed it is.
You're thinking of the pink Porsche there, weren't you? Yeah, you were absolutely right. That MX-5 is just carving its way through the field at the moment. And also the BMWs are still shuffling around. on this stream, we see there's that 944. Look at the gap now that is between him and Matt Lewis. There is the Marcos. So again, that Marcos is just really getting into a stride now. Great lap time. Lewis was nearly matched. Was actually half a second quicker indeed than Stephen Scott Dunwoody in that mighty Cosworth Turbo. Well, not proving particularly mighty today. Looking at Sam Smith, he's gained another 2, isn't he? He's now up to 12th position from starting in the pit lane.
Yeah, that was 2 Beamers, wasn't it? He got through on that particular lap. We also had a change for 7th and 8th that time through, because Richard Harman at the wheel of the 944 Turbo was able to work his way through and past the 944 Series 2 normally aspirated Porsche of Ryan Moan. So that's a shuffle for 7th and 8th positions that time through. Ryan Moan is just threading his way through Agostini, the way things currently stand. So Stuart Dayburn still continuing to lead. He also leads Group 2, which is for the 1980s cars, and leading Group 1, which is for the 1970s cars, is still Miles Maserati's. That Porsche 911 Turbo has lost a few places since the start, but it still leads its group. That's the important thing. And it will be the group winners, so both from Group 70 and the 80s group, that will pick up 30-second penalties for the rest of the season. So we need to consider that as well. That is going to work its way through as the race plays out. Rob Hollyman at the wheel of the number 9, Porsche 964, just turning his way through. Now, he sits there in a fairly comfortable 3rd place at the moment. There is not really anybody to blame, has he? He's 6 seconds behind the car ahead, and he's got, 7 seconds in hand with the car behind him.
Yeah, he's not on Mark Judge, which is nothing to be ashamed of. Yeah, that comes together last time we saw it. That's 964. He's doing the rounds, absolutely wonderful pace from the number 9. He's doing a fantastic job there. He's just coming past our commentary position there. You can see on the stream just over the line to make another lap. Lap 9. David is where he's making another galaxy right now at his place. And he's now looking like he's going to be under pressure by Matt Lewis in the Marcus Mantua, as he's losing 2 seconds in that last lap alone. So the Sierra is now going to have to do. You can still see on the stream number 9 Porsche making his way. A bit of a locker there. I wouldn't worry when we start seeing smoke. It's not usually the friend of cars, but he's still pressing on, now heading towards Agostini.
Yeah, Rob Hollyman, that is, at the wheel of the light blue number 9 Porsche 964. And Rob has been a long time competitor with the Classic Sports Car Club in a range of things over the years as well. Porsches, but not exclusively Porsches over the years, but as we say, he is sitting there 3rd in the race, 3rd in his class as well at the moment, because it is cars from the 1980s in Class A that occupy the first 5 places in this race at the moment. The first car that is in a different class is the leader of the 1970s A class, which is Miles Maserati. Richard Harman is leading, Ryan Moan is leading Class B from the 1980s. Rob Sadler, the number 3 car, is in 9th place. He leads Class C from the 1980s. But there's lots of classes. The big window has now opened as well. So who's going to be, do you think, the first to roll the dice, Chris?
It's always difficult to say, isn't it? We try and survive to serve the mandatory pit stop. I wouldn't be surprised to see Stephen Scott Dunwoody bring his car in and maybe trackside is all debatable. Who's going to come in quickly? I'm going to say that we might see the number 3, the Snapper Schweizer's car, Maseratis. I would think that the 146 Porsche is going to change hands to Pierce sooner rather than later.
I agree with you there. That was the one I'd got in my head, but I think, yeah, maybe. Miles is not slow. Is very rapid indeed, so it makes me wonder whether they might bring Miles in a little bit earlier. But it's still leading its group. That's the important thing. It might have lost places overall. We have had a few that have come in, though, because Rob Hollyman, the number 9 Porsche's come in, hasn't Stephen Scott Dunwoody, and also Mark Mattis of Lewis. So that now means that Porsche that's just exiting Ritchie's now in the hands of Miles Maserati not only leads its group, which is the 70s group, Group 1, it's now moved up to third overall in the race, and the largely still number 51 Porsche 944 Turbo in the hands of Richard Harman that sits behind is now to fourth overall in the race. It also reached number 47 Ryan Mona with the fifth, and very beautiful, almost ITC BMW liveried car of Rob Sadler, the number 3 machine, stunning livery on that car, and the Warsteiner livery is now inside the top 6.
Well, Stephen Scott done what he did indeed, bring his car in. He had the door open, he was chatting to one of his team. He's now back out on track, which is good to see. The Cosworth still rolling on. There goes the number 75 as well, Marco Mancina returning to track. The Maserati Porsche has yet to see, has yet to change hands to Pierce, but Ryan Mona also brought his number 47 car in, so he's no longer attached to the back of the Harman Slater car, the number 51. I wouldn't be at all surprised to see that battle resume once that car is handed over to James Slater post their pit stop. So we'll see how that translates. I mean, for the now, at least, the battles have kind of dissipated a little bit. Is still talking to Mr. David, who's just brought his Tuscan in.
I've had a spin for Chris Pidcock at the wheel of the Porsche 924S. That was down at the Wilson hairpin where he had managed to lose the car under braking, I would gather. He's now got it pointing in the right direction. Will continue on his merry way. So no time lost there. Chris Pidcock as the leader of Group 1, the first of the 1970s cars. Miles Maserati turns the red Porsche 911 Turbo out of Murray's, still with the 944 Turbo not that far behind. We've also got great battles going on with BMWs as well. We've got 25 black and gold vehicles, which is threading out of Williams and onto the Bentley straight. That is in the hands of Michael Wright, but he's coming under attack from Matthew Irons. They're all being lapped by Stephen Scott Buddies or Sierra Cosworth, but also trying to get in on the fun as well. I think that's Stephen Gimley, is it, as well as number 31 of BMW. So yellow from black from orange now is the order 3. Matthew Irons is on the front of that trio.
Yeah, they've been arguing for track space for a while, but Matt Irons again now leading that little conga line. Yeah, Stephen Scott done what he's just gone past them from Milani for the so that he'll be working his way back through the field. The number 79, that's Mr. Chilton coming back out on track. Get that car up to speed. As you see, right, not slavage back of Matt Irons. Matt Irons bringing his car in. Usually shares that car with grandson Jake Severs. The Severs family not here this weekend, so it's one of the few, if not the only grandfather-grandson racing combinations you'll find certainly in this country.
That car's been that colour as well for year after year after year. I've seen Matthew Irons race this car for the best part of it's got to be 20 years now. Old problems, I'm afraid, out on track and slowing down into the Nissan Skyline of Mark Chilton. Came out of the Wilson hairpin and all of a sudden he hasn't lost all motive drive, but it's just looking as though, yeah, that car is not up to full speed anymore. And I did say the car would be slightly recalcitrant, somewhat troublesome, but yeah, the rather lightly struck Nissan, I'm afraid, mechanical gremlins have struck again for him.
Commentator curse count 1 to you, Mr. Werrell, or certainly for today's count. Yes, again, it really done well. It's absolutely fantastic. Alas, there is Matt Irons going through the pit stop procedure, and this is as Mark was explaining earlier, it was as fast as you can do it. Pit stop, up or halt, turn the in-off belt off, open door, and then reverse it.
And the idea is, Matthew Irons, you rev the engine, stop from once you've got it in gear, don't rev it when you're still in neutral. So I think he lost maybe another second or so there, really. I've been there, done that, but he's out on track now. You can see him just exiting the pit lane and making his way up towards Richie's corner at the wheel of the 21 BMW. So we've got 24 minutes of the race remaining. 7 laps have been completed by Miles Maserati, who has now picked up the lead of the race because we've had Stuart Dayburn in the Great Neon until into the pits and conducted pit stop. So the 911 Turbo in hands of Miles Maserati now leading the way at this stage by about 5.5 seconds from Richard Harman's Porsche 944 Turbo. And up to third, Series 2 in the hands of Ryan window will close when we get to 15 minutes remaining of the race, so that is 8 minutes away at this stage. That's the equivalent of anywhere between 3 and 4 laps for the competitors. We need to make sure that they're in the pit lane before the window closes. I think everybody was very well behaved with that yesterday. I don't recall at any point that anybody left it too late into the window and the window closed when they came in.
No, indeed. I was down at the pit lane yesterday. The only times we saw cars coming in after the pit lane had shut were those that were going on time.
Yeah.
So, yeah, absolutely. It's quite a heavy penalty if drivers serve their pit stop outside of the pit window. If they don't serve the call, this year it says they are excluded.
Clear excluded, yeah,
So,
absolutely.
yeah, they have to take that very, very seriously.
That means that you have to keep it outside.
That's my understanding, yes. Used to be a 30-second penalty, now it's 6 seconds. And now that we've got back to the way one needs to run this series back to running up fast, we don't have the short pit stop penalty. There's a lot of things that imposed when racing was resumed. Anyone that had pitted for less than 2 minutes had 30 seconds plus amount of time was short by penalty applied, and there is the skyline under the bonnet that's never I'm going to head down to the pit lane to see who else can do.
Yeah, absolutely. So Chris is going to make his way to the pit lane. We might be able to get a word from Mark Chilton as to exactly what's happened with the poor old Nissan Skyline. So Chris is going to get the steps in today. Chris looks up here in the commentary box when the window opens, probably down in the pit lane, and he'll come back to the commentary box and then back downstairs again for a chat to some of the drivers at the end of the race. But it's looks as though that is the end of the race. Mark Chilton, lots of gazing being done. But of course, it's all rather hot under there, and unless you've got the right gloves on and the right PPE, you could argue there's only so much you can do when you've got warm engines, very warm turbochargers. Ryan Moan, you can see in the background, getting hurled out of his car as the number 47 car resides in the pit lane. Runs Ryan Insurance, which are specialist motorsport insurers. So if you go racing and you want to insure your racing car, which is something that you can do, then Ryan's is one of the many companies that are available to do that. Just being strapped in to make sure that you're all fully done up, that the seat belts are over the hands device, and once they're all tight you can then get the engine fired up, which is what Ryan Moan is about to do, and rejoin the race. Other cars still residing in the pit lane as well. The looking Claxton, Colin Claxton driven Trans Dolomite Sprint now being handed over to David Claxton. That also sits there in the pit lane at the moment. Also got the Stanton on the track as well, the 240Z of Mike Stevenson. We'll see more Stanton 240Zs out later on in the Swinging 60s race. Always a fantastic mixture of cars in the Classic Sports Car Club, and we hope that we continue to see grids as strong as we've had this weekend throughout the season. We've had some mega grids over the course of the last few years. So 20 minutes remaining on the clock.